So winter's coming, and I wonder, are you ready? I'll tell you, I got my, my dad's snowblower out. This is not mine, but I got my snowblower out, and I was just thinking about that today. What does it mean to be ready for Jesus to come back? I have spent the last almost year doing a poor job, as you can see, of drywalling and insulating this whole darn garage so that in the winter, I can work out here in the shop. And I like to build guitars and work on other stuff. I've got a tool I'm fixing up here so that can saw more, and then got this one working. And so I've been working on stuff, getting ready. But I was thinking about it. In our text today, we are in the book of Matthew, like I said, chapter 25, and Jesus says, he tells us a parable about some bridesmaids who are ready for a wedding, and the groom is going to come. And he tells this story, but I'm not always positive that people catch what the story is about. And I've talked about this one before, but I just want to clarify a couple things. So first off, this story, I want you to note a couple things. There's 10 bridesmaids who are waiting for a groom to come and then be brought back traditionally and walk through town to the family's big celebration with the bride, where the whole family celebrates, and he's traveling in from a distance. So the groom's going to show up. They're waiting for the groom. And Jesus tells the parable. He says, so there were 5 wise and 5 foolish. And the 5 wise bridesmaids, maids, they had extra oil. They expected the groom to be late. The other 5 did not. Now, a lot of times people sort of just quick jump to some conclusions and go, well, they shouldn't have fallen asleep, so those were the unwise ones. That means we have to always stay awake and always be ready. And no, I don't think that's exactly what's going on here, because all 10 of them fell asleep. Also notice that it's not a morality play, right? This is not a morals good-bad story. Because if it was, Jesus would have said that those maids could have shared their oil. There was more than enough oil for the 5 with the extra to share to the 10, and then all of them would have had some. Instead, they say, no, go get your own oil. We're not going to miss it. We're going to be ready. So it's a different priority here than good or bad. It's a different priority here than morality, right? Instead, the priority is expect God to come, or at least the bridegroom in the story, but expect a delay, because that's going to happen. I did not expect my project out here to take me almost a year. It's been almost a year since I've sort of spent some time on my hobby out here, and it's been hard. It's been hard to be motivated. It's been hard to put up another sheet and another sheet. It's been hard. It's funny, after all that work, it took maybe an hour and a half to do the blown-in insulation, but the rest of it took me, finding the time and then getting the people to do it and having the right tools. It just took a long time. I did not expect it to take that long. I didn't plan well accordingly. Now that I am almost done and getting back to it, I see with I'm much calmer about it. I feel better about it. I see now that I think I would have done things a little differently had I assumed that life would get complicated. And my life often does. I'm a pastor. Stuff comes up and I need to be there. So I get that. But I would have done it a little differently. And part of that's wisdom. But part of that would have been maybe expecting the unexpected, right? I wonder if, as Christians, there are some stories to learn from this parable that you could think about this week. For instance, what does it mean that Jesus is delayed? What does it mean that it's going to take a while, and it may take our whole lives and longer? It's already been 2,000 years. And I'll tell you, the people in Thessalonians that we'll hear also this week, the people all throughout the New Testament, they expected it in a few years. And it didn't happen. And Paul had to remind them, hey guys, he told us, we got to remember. And Peter reminded them, and the disciples reminded them, but those guys fully expected Jesus to come in their lifetime, and he didn't. And he said there's going to be a delay. So that's one point to think about. Expect delay. But another one is also expect God to show up every day. God does show up every single day. That Spirit is active and stuff is going on. And the more you tell me your stories and the more I see it in my own life, the more I am convinced There is good reason to say that God is alive because we all see it all the darn time. The last thing I'll suggest to you is that any time that we're talking about time in the Bible, and for some of you, you're not gonna like this, but God lives in eternity. We live in time. I was talking with a friend today and they were thinking about someone they love and they were thinking, I wonder if they have to wait a long time. I said, whenever we think about eternal things, I would suggest you use the phrase no time because it's forever time, right? And if it's forever time, they're not waiting. All time is together. Just like for God, he can see all points in time and knows all the things, but we still have freedom. It's not like God is deciding those things for us, but God knows all that's happening and has a plan and is also in control. That does not make sense if time goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does make sense if God exists in all time. And that's a bit of a complicated one, but play with that idea a little bit. Sometimes when folks have a hard time with texts in the Bible, it could be an issue of temporality. I'm Pastor Chris. Looking forward to heating up my garage and working on some projects after a long work. And clearly there's still a few you can see back there. There's a few more sheets still to go up. Are you ready for winter? It's coming. Are you ready for Jesus? He's coming too. I'm Pastor Chris signing off for now. See you next time.